Hey you guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and I hope you have subscribed. And for those that have subscribed, thank you for the support. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button below to get some more high-risk content from a South African international student living here in Ireland. Most of us vloggers, we are in Ireland, we talk about what's nice about living in Ireland and all of that. Even for me, and for most of my YouTube videos, I talk about why it's nice to live in Ireland and all the nice things and all of that. But I recently moved to Dublin after living in Limerick for about a year. And there's a few things that I noticed that I don't like about living in Ireland. And so this video basically is just about that, to discuss about, I think it's 5 or 6 things that I do not like about living in Dublin. And some of them might apply to, Ireland in general. So stay tuned, subscribe, hit the like video, and check out all the other contents as I bring to you live from Ireland. Okay, so let's get to it. Number one, I guess for me, the one thing that I do not like, it's the cost of public transport. Granted, the public transport in Ireland is good. There's a whole lot of buses. You can basically get around the country and go anywhere that you want. But man, in Dublin, it's really expensive. Like I said, I lived in Limerick for about a year, and the cost of transport there was actually cheap, especially even with the Lib card. Like we were paying €1.40 for a single trip to town or to the neighboring areas. Now in Dublin, a single trip might cost you, I think the minimum is €2.40. Even on the lowest, it's €2.40. So if you're commuting from work maybe to the city center every day, that's €2.40 a day, and times that by 2, that's basically €5 a day. Now yes, it could be €2 more, it might not seem like a lot, but if you're doing it every day for the rest of the month, that's a lot of money. So that is the one thing that I do not like about living in Dublin. This one, because the public transport is quite expensive, and sometimes it can be late. In Limerick, I found that it was actually very punctual. Like every 15 minutes interval, there would be a bus. But here in Dublin, you could wait sometimes. That day I waited for the bus for about 2 hours, and it didn't pitch up. Sometimes you wait for the bus, it says it's coming, and it just doesn't come. So that is definitely one of the things that you may not like. So be prepared. And also in terms of transport, I don't have a car, but from the research that I've done, it seems fuel is quite expensive in Ireland. And I checked online recently, it's about €1.22 a litre, which if you convert to South African currency, for me that's what I convert to, it's about 20 rand or so currently per litre. That is quite a lot. But I will see one day if I ever own a car in Ireland, then I will see. But from what I gather from the research that I've done, people are also complaining about the fuel prices. So that's fuel prices, and the public transport cost can be quite costly. Okay, so I guess then number 2 would be that, I think I've mentioned this in my top 10 Irish culture shorts videos as well, that things take time in Ireland. Their processes are so slow, their systems take forever, and that makes you become quite patient, but it can be annoying at times. For example, like as an international student, it took us like a month to get a bank account, or to get a bank card rather, and most of the things are still done by post. By postmail, and it took us that long to get a bank account. When we applied for a visa, it took forever to get the visa. And when you apply for the driver's license, it also takes quite a long time, like 3-4 months or so to get your driver's license. And even the visa, it really takes you so long, 2 to 3 months for you to get your visa approved, even though you are in Ireland, even though you're studying in Ireland. So that's something that didn't make sense. And on top of that as well, the counties in Ireland, which is kind of like provinces, if you think about it. I think, well, in other countries here there's also provinces, but there are like 4 provinces in the whole country. But the counties, they do things differently, which is what I just don't understand. For example, last year when we graduated and got our results, we're still waiting for our results after we finished our course. There are people in different counties, like people in County Cork and the other counties in Dublin, where the universities were issuing letters to say they've completed their course, even though they don't have their final results yet in their qualification. But that letter that says you completed your results, your course, and you will get your results maybe in 3 months' time. But this letter is sufficient that you complete the course and you can apply for your stamp 1G visa, which is your postgrad visa. Now that was sufficient in other counties for them to start applying for the 1G visa. However, in Limerick, the university was even refusing to issue out those letters, because apparently the immigration office in Limerick does not accept those kind of letters. They only want the official transcript and the letter of completion and the qualification. But meanwhile, other students were applying for those visas using the letters. So that's one of the things that I just didn't get, why the countries are operating differently, even though they're all under the immigration immigration department and justice. So that's just one of the things that you can expect, that just because something is done a certain way in Dublin, it might not be the same in Limerick, it might not be the same in Cork, and also it might take quite a long time. If you apply for your LEAP card, it might take about 2 weeks for it to arrive. For a bank card, it might take again a month for your bank card to arrive. Your driver's license, whatever it is that you apply for, just know that it's going to take some time, so just be patient with it. And then number 3, I think that will be the cost of living in Dublin. This one is specifically to Dublin. Jeez, it is expensive to live in Dublin. You know, like I said, having lived in Limerick, I can definitely compare the two. What at the top of the list, obviously, it's the rent. Like, the rent is expensive in Dublin. You know, I mean, Limerick, we were paying like 300 and maybe maximum 320 euros at student courtyard. Yes, that was during the summer. But even now, during the academic year, I think you're looking to pay maybe maximum 500 euros and you can get a double room, a double ensuite bedroom in a nice house or a nice apartment, or even maybe up to 600 euros with your own ensuite bedroom. In Dublin, otherwise, you know, you're looking at paying minimum, I think, 700 euros for a room that's probably not even an ensuite bathroom, and that is excluding bills. And the bills, maybe they might be shared between 3 people. You have to divide those, you know, and you're looking at paying maybe 40 to 60 euros, you know, every 2 months maybe. And like someone even mentioned something like half of your salary will go to half a decent place. So it's very hard to find a decent place in Limerick. The rooms are either small and you're paying quite a lot of money. If you find a double bedroom with an ensuite bedroom in a maybe 3-bedroom apartment, something, you're looking at paying like 1,000 euros or something like that. Otherwise, you're gonna have to share the bathroom. So then you might be looking at paying 650 to 700 for a double room with a shared bathroom with someone else or other people. So it's really expensive in terms of the rent living in Dublin. Now, there are other places probably out a little bit further from the city center that you might find nice places and reasonably. But the south is also expensive, and the city center is also expensive. And some of the places are really just not worth it. But because, you know, it's in the city center, it's Dublin, some people are willing to pay that much. Me, I'm not. So if you're gonna live in Dublin, expect to pay 700 to 1,000 euros for a double room, and maybe for a single bedroom, then you can get around with 550 or something like that, and you still have to share the bathroom. So it's really expensive. And in terms of the food as well, yes, it's expensive. Like I used to spend about 100 euros on grocery per month because I cook a lot. But right now I spend probably about twice that, which is about 200 euros per month, because it's in Dublin, you know, and it's expensive. Everything is costly here. So expect that. And like I said again, the transport, €2.40 per trip probably, or €2.50 per trip. So all of those costs of living, when you consider that, it's highly expensive to live in Dublin as compared to other counties. So I think if it's not the fifth, yeah, I think it's the fifth. But I do not like about living in Ireland. This one is Ireland generally. It's the healthcare. I mean, the healthcare insurance is really crap. It's not so for that it's not that good. Even now with COVID, we've seen it was like crumbling, and it's expensive. It's really expensive. Like, as a student right now, after qualifying to get your postgraduate visa, you need to get a health insurance before you could get your visa. You know, you have to pay 300 euros for your 1G visa. You have to pay for that, and then you have to get a health insurance, and you pay for it annually. So you have to pay like upfront. So if they say it's 500 euros per year, you have to pay that 500 upfront, and then you're covered for the whole year. You know, so it's really expensive, and the healthcare on its own is not really good. I mean, I don't know about other colleges. I could be wrong. Maybe it was just in Limerick, but at the University of Limerick, when I was studying there, we actually had to pay to consult a doctor or a nurse at the university, like at the university campus health facilities. We had to pay for that. That for me was a shock, because in South Africa, where I studied, at least, you know, if I'm wrong as well, please correct me, but at the University of Johannesburg, where I studied, the health consultation were for free on campus, and then they give you a prescription, then you can go to a pharmacy and get those. You know, in Ireland, you have to pay, even though you're at the university, to see a nurse, and you have to pay, I think it's about 20 to 30 euros, and then also you still have to go get a prescription. They give you a prescription for that, and then you still have to buy the medication at a pharmacy, and that's also expensive. And also, you know, I haven't been to the hospital so much, but one thing that I've seen doing my research is that the healthcare system here, the reason why it's not so good as well, there's long queues and long waiting list. Like, if you go in there, if it's something like an emergency, you're looking at waiting for so many hours, such long hours, because there's just not enough space, not enough beds, not enough, you know, capacity for the healthcare system. So that is another thing that is an issue. And yet for that, the health insurance yet is still expensive, you know, especially for us international students. There is one that is cheaper for students though. I think it's called Study and Protect. So you pay about 220 euros per year for your visa, for you to get your 1G visa. So that's a little bit cheaper than all that. Other than that, you're looking at about 450 to 500 euros per annum for health insurance. That is costly. Okay, now the other thing, which I can't even keep track anymore, if it's the 5th or the 6th, I can't keep track, but it's the high population in Dublin. My goodness, it's full in Dublin. It is so packed. There's a street called Grafton Street. I think it's the main or the principal shopping street in Dublin. It is so packed, like on a normal day. Luckily now it's COVID, so it's pretty much empty. All shops are closed. But once this opens up, it is, like as you can see from this video that I'm playing, it is always so full, so packed. And apparently from the research that I've done, apparently about a third of the island population resides in Dublin. So, and Dublin is not such a big place. It's just overpopulated full. And I think there's about 1.3 million people currently in the whole Dublin city. That is a lot. And for me, I don't like crowds, I don't like crowds. And so trying to survive in that, like, it's very hard to walk and not bump into anyone. I mean, granted, the streets is beautiful. There's a lot of shops there. You'll find people performing, attracting shoppers' attention, street and live performances and all of that. But it is just too full for me. Like even during COVID, it was a concern. Like when I was walking there, I felt scared for my life because it's just like, how are so many people in the one same street? It's that street and there's another street. I'm not sure. I think it's Henry Street. I'm not sure. Could be Henry Street. I'll confirm. But yeah, it's also next to the Sphere in the north side of the city center as well. And it is also so packed. I mean, there's all kind of shops, which makes sense. That's like the main shopping street or the main shopping center. But for me, like I'm saying, I don't like crowds. And if you don't like crowds as well, yeah, it's not a very good idea to be in the Dublin city center. Better do shopping elsewhere. But it is a nice feeling because it's international, it's global. There's a lot of people from all over the world. But yeah, so that's just one of the things that I don't like about living in Dublin, which is why I enjoyed living in Limerick. It wasn't so full, wasn't so populated. And the last one, I think this is a personal thing for me. I don't drink alcohol. So, but the pub and alcohol culture in Ireland is just so intense. Like I know in South Africa, we say people drink. Jeez, guys, these people here drink. Like teenagers, you see teenagers buying alcohol as well, and adults and all of that, and it's a norm for them. Like you're gonna have breakfast, you have it with a pint of beer. You're having lunch, you have it with beer, and they drink. It was very weird for me as well as a culture shock, and going out in Ireland means like going to a pub and drinking for most of the people. So if you're not really a drinking person, you're not a pub kind of person, it might be a bit strange for you, it might be a bit boring for you, like it was for me at some point. But luckily for me, like I'm saying, I'm a social person, so I kind of adapt to these situations, but I do not like them. It's their culture, I do understand, but for me, it's just something that I don't like. And going to pubs, unless maybe you're with friends that also don't drink, then you can hang out and have fun and dance. The music is good, the pubs are nice and all of that, the food is good, they also serve food, but it is a very strong, intense alcohol culture. So those are all the things that I think I can come up with right now that I don't like about living in Ireland, and I hope you guys find them helpful. Remember to subscribe, hit share, and like the video so I can see if you enjoy the content. Thank you. See you in the next one.